All right, team. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome aboard to our weekly market recap. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this weekend. We do this every weekend, recapping the charts and the market action. I always do a morning note in the morning. I haven't done it in the last couple of days, just for the simple fact that it's just been a very weird tape last week. So I brought up S&P so you guys can take a look at it. Before we can make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you like these videos. Again, morning note, we'll be coming back Monday. Again, it's just the past week. I really felt it was rather redundant and repeating the same things over and over. Even on the news front, on the Discord, it just really wasn't a lot. Look at this price action. This is from starting Sunday of last week. We had that big boost on Sunday. Monday, we didn't do anything. Tuesday, we didn't do anything. Wednesday, we started rocking and we got to new all-time highs. Thursday, nothing. Friday, nothing. Friday, we had the non-farm payroll report that beat expectations. And then what? We pushed higher and then we pretty much ended up at the same place, if not slightly less on the S&P. So futures are red right now. Pretty much in no man's land at this moment. There's many ways to look at this. So again, we're going to start with first thing I want to bring up is the golden extension. So I usually start off with how we did to the week, but I really want to go over this here in a second because I get this question a lot. Where is the market going to go, or how high could it go? Because we know new all-time highs, right? And I think it's important to kind of at least have some levels. So maybe you have a pen and pad, write this down. So based on the Fibonacci charts that we have, this is based on the daily. So if you want to go to the weekly, that's fine too. The weekly is very similar just for the fact that we put the 100% retrace or the top end of the SPY chart because everyone likes to trade SPY. Fair enough. I do S&P for futures, but 479.98, I think we can agree 480 is your all-time high. 4,800 S&P if you want to be technical. That was the previous all-time high that we fell from in 2022. If you see that, had that pullback in 2022 from January. That's when we tagged all-time highs. We hit the lows, and then that was in October of 2022, and then we just continued to go higher and broke out in January of 2024. That's when our first real all-time high. So we're going to use that still to kind of give us the roadmap of how high we can go, because we're only going to base it on previous all-time highs and the most recent lows, which is the October lows. And here is your money target, 561.48. Now, that doesn't mean go run out and buy the 560 calls. No, but I think it's important to at least have a roadmap of where you're going to go. Again, I fully believe we'll get to 561.48. 100% think that we're going to get there. Would we get there by the end of the year is a different question. I think I'm comfortable to say that that would be my 12-month target. With seasonality going the way it is, we may get a little choppiness. I'm actually kind of leaning to getting a little bit of a pullback this week. I've said that a couple of times, but again, a couple of things I want to show you. But again, at least we have the roadmap that my 12-month target on SPY will be 561.48. So we'll do that with also QQQ. It's not going to happen overnight. Again, the last time I had a 12-month target on something was NVIDIA, and it hit in 30 days. So we'll see. But same thing as Qs. Again, previous all-time highs based on the weekly. That's right around 409, I think. 409.02, let's call it. The fib extension will be 504.40. So again, that will be my 12-month target. That doesn't mean go run out and buy the 500 calls, 505 calls. Again, just like SPY. This is just giving us the roadmap of how high we can go. We can always break out of this, obviously. Again, I just see that as a target moving forward for us for the next 12 months. And I fully believe we'll get there. More than likely, we'll get there possibly by the end of the year, in my opinion. To break out, no matter how you slice it, we are going to get lower rates, just not this month. We have a Fed meeting. So again, these levels are going to be key. So make sure to write this down. Those are our golden extensions, we call it, or golden Fibonacci extensions. All right, so let's go to next is Forex Factory. And right here, you can see we do have a pretty packed week. Last week, we had just non-farm payroll. We had ISM manufacturing. Really, the only thing that changed anything was Wednesday's action. Again, Monday, Tuesday, choppy. Thursday, Friday, choppy. Not the best. So let's go to it. We have Monday, pretty much nothing. Tomorrow, 10-year bond auction. That's going to be on Tuesday. So we're going to see if bond yields are coming lower. Maybe the bond traders are going to lock down rates now that they can get before the Fed cuts, with the expectation being in September. That's what Citi and Goldman are saying. They change it from July to September due to this hot non-farm payroll report. CPI, again, inflation. That's going to come up here. Year over year is going to be important. Let's see if we get a 3.4%, matching the same. It looks like nothing has really changed. CPI month over month, the expectation is 0.1. So that seems pretty soft. I mean, seems pretty, in a sense, very positive, let's just say. Very optimistic. Excuse me. That's the word I was looking for. So a pretty optimistic expectation there. Now, here's the thing that I find very interesting. It's the same day as the Fed. It's the same day as Powell speaking. I don't know if he will speak on the day's CPI on Wednesday, but it'll be very interesting. So Wednesday last week was busy. This Wednesday will be busy as well, starting off with the CPI number. I don't suppose that we'll have anything higher than what is expected. Used car prices are still going down. Rents are coming down too. I expect CPI to come in soft, absolutely, if not meet expectations. It came in the same way as PCE, in my opinion. So federal funds rate 5.5% is the expectation. No change. I agree there. Powell will speak, but again, no cuts are expected. If we get cuts, which again, I do not expect. But man, if he did, remember Bank of Canada started. They didn't start. Switzerland started, then Bank of Canada, then the European Union cut rates. Probably Bank of England will probably be next. Who knows? Maybe Australia, New Zealand. But United States is coming. So if you start noticing the central banks are kind of working together, let's use that to our advantage. We know the Fed will cut this year. I fully believe that. It is an election year, so let's be pragmatic. But the question is when. That's what we're trying to find out. 2:30 p.m. is the press conference, PPI, on Thursday. So that'll be post-Fed. So again, pretty busy Thursday with a 30-year bond auction, and Janet Yellen's going to speak. She's been hockey saving the market lately. We also have University of Michigan consumer sentiment. That's pretty much another measure of inflation because they have inflation expectations right there. That's pretty important. That's at 10 a.m. on a Friday. So that's what we got coming up. Again, so let's bring this up on the S&P 500 again one more time. All right, so let's get with how we did in the week. Let's go and pivot there. All right. So futures trades, I got the futures video up. I got a couple of questions, but I'll look at that in a bit. Let's go to how we did for the week. This is this week's results. We haven't had 2 losses in a week since April 19th. So it doesn't feel good. It's been a minute, but yeah, AMD and Citi did not work out for us. Amazon did okay, 45%. This is the second time in 2 weeks that we've hit Amazon. Palantir was probably the trade of the week. Hit as high as 108%, and then it flipped the next day. So again, that's where you're going to have runners. And the TQs, we played that, hit as high as 90% in the money on those. So again, remember I was talking about I'm bullish tech. That's why we did TQs. I just didn't put that extra Q there. My bad. So again, kind of a mixed start to the month of June. We still got some risk open. Not ideal to have those 2 losses. I wish I could have got those back. But moving forward, we got a couple things open, and we're just going to continue to move forward. So how do we do that? So what's really next to the opportunities? That's where we have the watches and charts for our members. They're already set to go. Again, we got a couple of names out there. I also put on the live market blog a couple of stocks I'm watching for the week. So let's go over 3 of them: Apple, Nvidia, and Starbucks. So let's start with Apple. And I do have calls on Apple open. And here's where it gets interesting. Remember, we were playing calls back since before earnings. Now, that was in April, and we've been riding this hole up the whole way. So we need to get above 198.26. I have the 200 calls with the team. We're looking to see if we can snag this bad boy. Tomorrow's the Worldwide Developer Conference, probably more likely of a push on AI. Will that be a sell the event sort of thing? Possibly. Last time we got up here was back in December and we pulled back. And then before that, we got there in July and pulled back. So, it's kind of a make or break at this time for Apple. What do I think? I don't know what Apple's going to bring. Usually when it comes to these conferences, they tend to be pretty bearish. We do have some time until 1 p.m. Maybe we'll get the push ahead of the event and then we can snag it. If not, we can hold it because we do have time. And again, we just really need to get to 197 for us to catch this one. So if it breaks above the all-time highs, or the previous all-time highs, we'll call it 198 as a settlement candle. The 200 level will probably be next. So the only one I could say that's kind of very similar into that pattern was XLE, and eventually we broke out of it. So again, it's not like this is unprecedented. And again, it pulled back. We still have the cup and handle. I know, it's while watching it. Just FYI, Oxy Petroleum Warren Buffett bought some shares in Oxy Petroleum. So let's see it. I think he tends to buy right at that 200 week moving average. No, he didn't. So again, just choppy. This was released just Friday, I believe, that he did buy some extra shares of Oxy. Buffett's a good thing for the market. Obviously, market tends to cheer his buys. Maybe that's a turn for the better in terms of energy stocks. They have been absolutely hit, and that's hurting now. We talked about Apple, so let's pivot real quick to the dollar since it is up this evening. You can see we're getting a pullback in futures. Get below 104, but you got to stay below 105. And again, it's still that setup. I still expect down, but we're getting a push now. The Asian markets are closed due to holiday. So maybe we're getting a little less volume than, usual. So dollar is up. Again, that's going to hurt commodities. Bitcoin is rather flat at the moment. So we're still getting a little bit of risk on at this moment. We're kind of hovering around that 70,000 level, getting near that all-time highs on Bitcoin. I read an interesting chart on speculation to the short side on Bitcoin. So, what are we looking at here? We're just testing that top end. And, at this moment, I did expect this break here. And now we're just kind of holding on to some resistance. So, looking good at least for Bitcoin, but you need that dollar to come back down. And that's really it. So the dollar needs to kind of help out. Next one on the chart is NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA is now a $120 stock at a 10-for-1 split. So put this on the watch list as well. Take a look at this here. So let's go and add a couple of studies. We're going to do the RSI, and you can see overbought. And guess what? Where the golden extension is 150.78. So if you're an NVIDIA investor, 150.78 is your next target. That is the golden fib. But you are overbought. So hate to be that guy, but more than likely you're going to get some pulling back here. Going to get a little bit of profit taking, excuse me. And that's completely natural and fine, guys. Trees don't go to the sky. I love NVIDIA. Listen, guys, in NVIDIA as well, we did this signal for Investment Club. This was back in May 6th. NVIDIA is going to sword team and break out very soon over all-time highs. It's a buy here at 910. TP, if you want to swing to 1200, it's SL of 800. And my 12-month price target on NVIDIA is 1200. Again, this is obviously pre-split. And, we got it. So well done to the team. But sometimes people are going to take some profit taking. 116.62 is a downside slight gap fill. If we break below that, we can take a look at 106. My money target really is a retest of 97.32. That's it, because that was the previous all-time high. So just a nice little retest, and then we could play the bounce if we get there. So maybe they'll buy the dip moment for individuals who want to get into some NVIDIA. That would be my price target, at least short term, 97.32. If we could buy some there. If we get above 130, then all bets are off. We're going to see you at 150. So again, very fluid. I don't think NVIDIA is going to last, every single day being higher. It was down a little bit. But now we have an opportunity to trade it, especially with signals, because it's not going to be that expensive. So I wonder what the implied volatility will be here. But again, I still believe that we'll get a pullback this week on NVIDIA, regardless of what CPI matters. I don't think that's a big deal. I think rate cuts are pretty much baked in for September, regardless, just for the fact of the elections. So again, 116.62 will keep my eye open because that is the first gap fill. The second one is 97.32. And then after that, we have another one at 68.97. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But one thing at a time. I kind of like NVIDIA for a pullback here. A little bit overbought, guys. That's it. I know. Very hard to short this bad boy, but puts will be cheaper because everyone's bullish, and that's kind of how it works. I think I got one more here on the watch list. Let's go to Live Market Blog, Starbucks. Okay. And again, this is on the Live Market Blog, guys. Anyways, this is free for everybody. Starbucks is something that we have already traded already. So this is nothing new to the Signal members. Let's go and expand this one more time. And you can see that beautiful multi-year trend line. And it breached slightly, but it bounced. So again, we have at least some semblance of some kind of price support, right? The problem is that I need to get above the 50-day moving average. Okay, we're above the 20. That's a really good sign. That's usually at least a short-term bullish indicator. So we're looking for this gap fill, the same thing that we did before with Target and all these names. It doesn't work all the time, obviously, but we're watching it very closely. 87.25. That's what I'm looking for. If there's any volume that stands out, I definitely want to get back into Starbucks. If we want to be a little bit more conservative, we can wait for 83.45. So I'll just go ahead and move it there. Again, that's the wick high. And I think that's from June 4th. So that's what I'm looking for, at least for the week. Again, a mixed week. It's been a while since we had two losses in the same week. I don't feel good about it at all, but I know we can go bounce back from that and get back to where we were, getting these streaks going, getting everyone paid. That's kind of the deal. So, we got a lot going on. I don't know what the Fed will do in terms of the market. I think there's a little bit of a risk that they cut. Call me crazy. I don't think they will. But again, that is really the risk. Hiking is not going to happen, not in an election year. So let's throw that out the window. Cut sooner rather than later, in my opinion. So we got to be ready for that. Could that be a semblance of sell the rip or, sell the news? Again, we're near all-time high still, but the dollar, look at that, just popped higher, 105.09. It needs to stay below 105.18 at least. If it breaks above, I'm going to place an alert there. That's the highs for the last couple of weeks, but that's where we are currently. So we'll be vigilant as always, and we'll see what we get moving forward. So let's see what else. I think we went over that performance. Let's see. Anything that stands out now? Yeah, gasoline's up a little bit, but other than that, really flat action here in the market. I got one thing that's standing out here: RTY. RTY. This is the Russell. The Russell does not look that great. If we break below 2020, let's say or so, 2000 would be next, about 20 points, maybe to 1985 or so. But again, we're below the 50, we're below the 100, we're below the 20. This is not good stuff. So at least for small caps. Doesn't mean the market's going to completely go down because RTY is a smaller part of the market. The most important thing, let's be real, in terms of all the stocks out there, it's really NVIDIA. If NVIDIA pulls back, we're going to see some weakness. Just prepare for that. And we'll go from there. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys in the morning note tomorrow. Cheers all.